Now, my colleague, I suppose I must call him, fellow talk radio host Mike Graham, not the Mike Graham that's the head of the Republic of Mike Graham, the American Mike Graham. He's on Saturday evenings here between 10 p.m. and 1, but he's also a U.S. broadcaster of some note, and he's joining us now. Mike Graham, thank you very much for doing so.
It is an honor to be with you, sir. And my friends call me Michael, and that's how they know that I'm the real Michael Graham and not that imposter that you have. And by the way, I just want to apologize to everybody who was listening to Peter Hitchens talk about the Middle East. Now they're going to listen to me. That experience you feel is intellectual bends as you plunge. I mean, I'm completely out of my depth next to somebody like Peter Hitchens, who, by the way, his brother was a delightful gentleman who I had the pleasure to know.
Well, thank you for that. And you'll be glad to know, therefore, I'm not going to quiz you about the Middle East because we've had plenty of that so far. I
was told there would be no math as well. I was assured there would be no mathematics.
There's no mathematics. But what I want to do is plumb your expertise about Donald Trump and about the base, if you like, of Donald Trump, because I'm getting the sense from the Fox News coverage, Tucker Carlson, from the Fox News poll, and from a plethora of really quite strong, robust supporters of Trump, that he's not necessarily taking his base with him in this plunge into a war in Syria. What do you think? How do you think that's going to break?
That's an interesting question. I wrote a piece for CBS News just a couple of days ago. They asked me to explain. I'm their token non-liberal. So they bring me in and look at the strange conservative. He walks, he talks, he makes sentences with verbs. And
I play the same role here, Michael.
Exactly. Trust me. That's why I say all the time, I cannot believe that you and I are on the same radio station. And I think it's wonderful and the kind of true diversity that I wish your friends on the left would embrace. But anyway, so they asked me.
It's a tribute to talk radio that both you and I can be accommodated.
It really is. And we have a great time on Saturday nights. And I learn a lot from your British compatriots about the world that I don't understand. But I do know, because I did talk radio here in the U.S. for years. And so Trump's voting base is my audience, and we diverge on Trump. I'm not a Trump supporter, but I think for his base, this is one of those things where the feeling of American greatness conflicts with the ideology of make America great again. The way I pushed it back is, or the way I presented it is that on the one hand, his base definitely does not want to get involved in wars of intervention. If you ask them what their philosophy is, they would say something along the lines of Senator Rand Paul or his dad, Ron Paul, America first, America mostly alone. But at the same time, they are very patriotic and proud of their nation's military might. And this is where the nationalism kicks in. If you said to them, do you want to go and lose American soldiers on the ground to fix Syria for the long term, which, by the way, would be the right thing for the West to do, but they won't. They would say, no, absolutely not. But if you said, oh, my gosh, you see these pictures of these kids dying from gas, we could use our might to punish the guy who did it. They'd go, yeah, show him America's boss. And so that it's the feeling of greatness as opposed to the ideology of AmericanGreatness.com.
It's such a paradox, though, Michael. I've been mining all day the many tweets of Donald Trump 2013 to 2015 and beyond, in which he denounced in withering terms, often misspelt, I must say, given the hour at which they are tweeted. He denounced in withering terms his predecessor, Barack Obama, for wasting American treasure and interests in Syria and demanding that Obama get out of Syria and promising that he would never, if president, ever set foot in Syria, that he would end this policy of confrontation, the Clinton policy of confrontation with Russia and so on. And it's even at odds with the tweets that he issued subsequently to the now infamous tweet, which will never be forgotten. It will be in history books, the first tweet ever to be in history books. In his subsequent tweets, he rode back almost entirely from the first one, blaming Mueller and the MSM and the Liberals and the Democrats for the parlous state of American-Russian relations.
Right.
It makes you wonder if his sanity is not in question.
Okay, first of all, George, you've done something that is a tremendous mistake. You've tried to take comments that President Trump made from 2 years ago and compare them to today. I can't make that work when I take comments from 20 minutes ago with President Trump
Good point.
and match them to today. But this is my point. This is the thing. Trump has never had an ideology. I interviewed Ruel Mark Garrick, who's a neocon, smart foreign policy guy, works for the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. And I asked him straight up, what is the Trump doctrine? And he said, I've been studying him every day for a year and a half. I can't find one. And so it's really very much a kind of almost a posturing. I will say this. America has always had a different moral sense than the average European nation. And I say that to find it, I'm trying to be polite and say, basically, we have morals and you people don't. And so you guys can do business with Saddam while he gasses his own people. You guys can do business with Iran while they throw gay people off the tops of buildings to kill them. You can do that without a brush because that's who you are. We can't, we'll do business with them, but we'll feel bad about it. And at a certain point, they will touch our national moral gag reflex and we will act. And that's what happened a year ago with Trump and those images. It was easy and it felt good. And so if I had to describe the Trump doctrine, and I think you see it in his tweets, if there's one theme, it's when there's an opportunity to do something easy, he wants to do it. When hard things come up, he blames people for stupidity and blah, 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 because he'll never acknowledge that some stuff's just hard. Dealing with Syria is hard. The Middle East, the Palestinians, Israel is hard. Trying to find a way forward with Russia, as long as it's governed by this goon, is just hard. And that's the reality of the world.
Now I know that you were telling the truth when you said you didn't know much about the Middle East, because it's not in Iran that they throw gays off buildings. It's Saudi Arabia.
No, also Iran. Iran. I have I have the video. Yes.
As it happens,
remember, the former president of Iran said in a speech that there were no gay people in Iran.
So thus they can't be thrown off buildings. It's Saudi Arabia that happens, Michael, and Saudi Arabia is your very best friend. That's the special relationship, as Peter just adumbrated. Do you feel bad about doing business with them?
Absolutely. And if you watch American pop culture, you'll see it, that the people in the Saudi Arabia and people part of that culture are often, portrayed as villains, untrustworthy. And I don't mean in a stereotypical, the Arab in the street kind of thing, but I mean, how many pop culture items are there where Americans portray the force behind some evil villainy as the oil machinations, corporate machinations of the Middle East? It's a common theme. At the same time, we do business with them. We sell stuff with them. Like I said, you're absolutely right. It is 100% hypocrisy, but you know what hypocrisy is, and you don't even feel the need to pretend that there's a moral standard to which you should show some recognition.
Well, look, we're two countries divided by a common language, as Oscar Wilde said. Let me just ask you about this breaking news, Michael. The Deputy National Security Advisor, Nadia Shadlow, has resigned. I don't know if you were aware of that, but if you are, is there any significance in it?
Well, it's part of the house cleaning that you're going to see from John Bolton. And I thought this. I actually have done some speeches and events with now National Security Advisor Bolton, and he's a smart guy. He's actually an affable guy. You'd like him if you talk to him. He's kind of got a sarcastic under the mustache wit. But I thought it was interesting. The comment that I keep coming back to is he was up for consideration for a job during the W administration, I think it was. And then Senator Joe Biden was grilling him. And he said, the thing that bothers me about you, John Bolton, is that you're smart. You'll go in and you'll actually get stuff done. And that's why I don't want you.
Didn't Trump say he didn't fancy him because of the mustache?
The mustache was part of it. Also, Bolton was not a big Trump fan. He does a lot of work with my friends at the Weekly Standard magazine, which is a neocon-leaning, never Trump magazine. But John Bolton, and also, John Bolton, he's not. It's so funny. People try to portray him as some kind of neoconservative. Not at all. he doesn't believe in force for advancing democracy as an idea, but he absolutely believes that force should be on the table for advancing American interests. If you can make the world a better place for America and force can get it done, John Bolton will not immediately remove it from the table the way that idiot Obama did. And let's all remember that the horror of Syria, the mass migration that's caused so much disruption in Europe, et cetera, can all be laid at the feet of the most incompetent foreign policy president since, I don't know, Kennedy, Barack Obama.
Well, look, it's been a pleasure disagreeing with you, Michael, and I genuinely mean that. Michael Graham's on Saturday evenings
well,
on
now you got to come
talkRADIO.
do my show now. You've got to find a time that we can visit. I know Saturday night, I know, but
I'm
I'd
yours.
love to have you on the show.
I'm yours, my friend. Thank you very
so
much
much, sir.
indeed
Appreciate
for joining us, Michael Graham of talkRADIO and sundry other U.S. broadcasters.